comrades, we're now going to move on to the section.
Is any representative here from the Anti-Racism Working Party, the Policy Commission? The Anti-Racism Policy Commission? Yes? Yes, could you see standing as Thomas down the orders, please? Thank you, because we're running out of time and we need to discuss what's happening.
Okay, comrades, so we're going to move on to trade union strategy.
Page 33, 34.
And it's motion 30 from Sheffield. It's a composite motion including Birmingham and West London. The amendment to that, Amendment 30A from Lambert, excuse me, and motion 31 from West London on trade unions. What I'm going to do, comrades, to try and catch up some of the time that we've lost in the various things we've done, is ask for formal moving and seconding.
Yeah.
Is that agreed?
Yeah, that's fine, that's lovely. Yeah, Matt Hale from Sheffield branch of Left Eurton. I'm here to actually speak. Sorry? Yeah, formally moved.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Okay, lovely.
Do you want to speak or not?
Yeah, I am speaking on it.
So you're not agreeing to formally move?
No, he's going to speak. Okay, he's going to speak. Fine. All right.
Well, you got to explain that, and you not all this, no.
It's all right.
Yeah. So I'm speaking on the trade union motion from Sheffield. I think as an organisation, I mean, there will have to be a broad consensus that our trade union strategy really must have to be central to the organisation. That said, though, I mean, it is actually largely with regret that since we have been formed, and more attention hasn't actually been given to our trade union work. I think in many respects, we do actually have to take a historical approach to this. I mean, if we do actually seriously want to break the mould, of the Labour Party, we also have to begin to break down the division between our political work and our trade union work. Even if we look at even when we look at the actual height of Benninism within the Labour Party, a part of what it actually suffered from was any seriousness. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Tom. Yeah, I mean, even when we look at the actual height of Benninism inside the Labour Party, I mean, part of what it actually suffered from was a lack of clarity and a lack of seriousness to actually push forward any working class politics inside the trade unions. But comrades, I mean, I think we do really have to be clear about this. Because I mean, even 30 years on from the 84-85 miners' strike, trade unions do actually remain the largest voluntary organisations in Britain. Alongside that, trade unions do also remain the first line of defence for working class activists. I mean, when we do have to look at the November conference, as an organisation, we did rightly establish the right of members to actually set up trade union caucuses within the organisation. That said, I mean, we do actually suffer though from a lack of any strategy. We do actually begin to, this is something we do actually begin to have to clarify. We do actually need to take a serious orientation towards the grassroots membership of the different unions, not just acting as a solidarity group that will do collections here and there, but that can actually begin to push forward the strategies that we do actually need to win. How we actually do this may actually differ from one workplace to another, from one union branch to a different one. So what the actual motion actually does, what the motion itself does propose, is actually following this conference. The actual calling of a national meeting for left unity trade union activists to actually begin to outline, to actually begin to develop the actual politics and the actual strategy that we do need to push forward.
Well, inside.
Good lad. Can I have the speaker from Lambeth to move Amendment 38, please?
Stephen Ellis from Lambeth Left Unity. I'm not going to speak on this. I'm just going to say that I think that this does a lot of what Matt has just outlined. I think this actually gives us a lot of the meat to put on the bones of what he said. So I would urge everyone to support it. I think we are, one of the things I want to say is we are doing some of this work already. I was on the teachers' demonstration in London, supporting some of my teacher comrades there, and we put out a leaflet with some joint work there. I think that was really, really good, and it actually got our name out there. Lots of people coming up to us saying how great it was that we had, you know, that position there, that we were taking part in that struggle and that strike that was going on. So I think that shows what we can do if we take this seriously and get the right approach.
Excellent, comrade. Well done. West London.
Oliver New, West London, and half of the trade union officer. Simple resolution, hopefully it does what it says on the tin. We need to do the basics. We've got a lot of members in Left Unity who are not members of trade unions. We've got a lot of trade union members who are not active in trades councils. We need to do the basics. We need to reach out to workers. We need to reach out to communities. We need to throw away some of the sectarian methods of the left, who seem to wait until there's a strike, who seem to wait until there's a dispute, and then their speciality is turning up and saying how it should have been run, or how, as Lambeth resolution, which I urge you to reject, says that there's a simple organisational formula to change union democracy in a form of strike committees. Strike committees can be fantastic, but I'm afraid having that as a formula for every dispute isn't particularly helpful, and I don't think that resolution is helpful. I urge you to support this resolution and to go forward with the basics and to build Left Unity.
Is there any speaker for or against the motion? Can you indicate?
For which
speakers?
Any against number 30?
Yeah, that's all I'm talking about. For motion 30, speaker for motion 30.
Godfrey Webster, Birmingham Left Unity. I think it's a very important motion, this, and we really do need to start getting our trade union work organised. And I just want to say, on the basis about Unite, we always must have quite a lot of members in Unite. There is a grassroots left organisation within Unite, which has a conference in 2 weeks' time in Birmingham, in the Station Hotel, and I hope more people from Left Unity will attend that, because I think we need to assess how effective this organisation within Unite is. There are certainly some problems with it, but we have to think whether it's possible to develop any alternative left organisation within Unite. So I'd urge people to take part in that, and I think it's really important that we do start to get ourselves organised in the sense of organised groupings within each union.
Is there a speaker against motion 30?
No, against the amendment.
Okay.
Alan Thorley from Southwark. It's just this first paragraph of this amendment from Lambeth, which I think is problematic for our sort of complete approach to the trade unions, really. It says, Left Unity orientates to the rank and file of the trade unions above privileging any relationship with left-wing officials, because we recognise that union leaders, left as well as right-wingers, are prone to compromise and call off actions at decisive moments. Yes. Well, comrade says yes. I think this is a big problem, because if we want to build in the unions, we've got to win the trade union left to it. To have had that, for example, to have had that attitude to Bob Crow before he died, for example, would have been absolutely ridiculous. This whole layer of left officials in a number of unions that we would want to win to Left Unity. They exist in the RMT. They dismiss the NUT. Now, it is true that it's not good enough what we got here, really, on the unions in this conference. We have to do it better at future conferences. But if the main thing we've got to say is that the problem is the left-wing officials. I mean, I don't say every left-wing official always does the right thing, but if the problem is the left-wing officials, this is completely the wrong approach. These are the people we've got to win to left unions here if we're going to have any influence in the unions at all.
Is there a speaker in favour of the amendment? Comrade Clare. Have we got a speaker in favour of motion 31? Have we got a speaker against motion? Oh, in favour of 31?
Yeah.
Yeah, come right then.
Oh,
Hang on, well, yeah, comrade, in favour of the gender balance, if you don't mind. Comrade. Take this sometimes.
There's definitely advantages in being a woman sometimes. I think what we need is a bit of a reality check, comrades. You know, where are we today? Firstly, we don't even know how many members in our organisation are members of trade unions. We don't know what positions they hold. We need to do that piece of work. I think absolutely we need to go forward. But we also need a bit of a reality check. So I'm afraid I'm going to use a moment or two to ask people to vote against the Lambeth Amendment. You know, there are some really, really good people at all different levels of our trade unions who've worked hard, who have the support of their members, who are in positions right the way through the structures. We're not just talking about Bob Crow. And incidentally, you know, tens of thousands of people were bloody weeping over the loss of Bob Crow because he stood out above everyone else fighting for the working class and for socialism. You know, it's a complete nonsense, some of this stuff that's coming out from some of these people. And I really think, you know, we need to take a bit of a reality check. We're trying to build a mass working class left-wing organisation. How on earth are we going to do that if we turn around, sorry, how are we going to do that if we refuse to relate to some of the people who are leading struggles? And there are some decent, they're not perfect, they don't share our politics, but there are good left-wing leaders and there are good left-wing officials. There are also right-wing. And if we want to appeal to the mass of the working class, we are not going to do that by telling them, oh, your general secretary and your branch secretary and your regional officer, who most of you support, are a bunch of shits and we shouldn't have anything to do with them. And on the question of strike committees, I've led a few strikes myself. We've had strike committees, and you have strike committees, absolutely, you involve workers at every level, but you most importantly, the people that we do want on the strike committee are the democratically elected reps and others. I'll shut up anyway. I've run out of time.
Is there a speaker against motion 31?
Move to the vote.
It's been moved to the vote. Is that agreed?
yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so we need to be voting first on Amendment 30A from Lambeth. All those in favour, please show. All those against, please show. That's defeated. Okay, so we can go to the vote on the substantive motion. Motion 30 from Sheffield, which is the Companies Act with Birmingham, West London. All those in favour, please show. All those against, please show. That's carried.
Unanimous.
Which brings us to motion 31 from West London. All those in favour, please show. All those against, please show. That's unanimous as well.
Super. What are we doing now?
You're on.